Welcome to Film Forum. This is the first in a series of programs for the amateur filmmaker, and hopefully will provide each and every one of you with all the information necessary to produce films, whether feature length or just shorts. Most aspiring filmmakers are ready to dig right into a film. But wait, you can't just go out and start shooting film. First, a filmmaker must get to know his camera. No matter what type of camera you use or what features it may have, the inner workings of all cameras are the same. You have a shutter which opens and closes to let light through to the film, and a claw which pulls the film down into place behind the shutter. This operation takes place 24 times per second at normal filming speed, and you are actually producing 24 still frames each second. But the exposure of the film must be controlled, and this is done by the lens. The lens has an adjustable aperture, and a small aperture lets a small amount of light through to the film. On the other hand, a large aperture obviously lets much more light through to the film. Whether your lens is a telephoto or a fisheye, these properties are the same. Filters can also be used to alter the exposure. They attach to the camera in front of the lens and can be used for a variety of special effects. A filmmaker must also get to know the types of film available, as different types of film can allow greater freedom during filming. Do you know which film would work better? Film is rated by its ASA number. The higher the number, the more sensitive to light the film is, and the faster the film is said to be. A problem with high-speed films, though, is grain. When projected, much grain is evident, and if copies are ever made, the grain increases. It takes very few generations before all you see is grain instead of the picture. Remember, the faster the film, the more grain you will have. So now that you have a thorough knowledge of cameras and film, we can turn to shooting. There are three basic types of shots. The long shot, which gives an overall view of the scene. The medium shot, which focuses your attention. And the close-up, for showing important detail. We have found that new cinematographers tend to lack a knowledge of proper camera movement. Some use too little movement, but most use way too much. The most common camera movement is a pan, where the camera is rotated horizontally at a fixed point. A vertical pan is known as a tilt. A more complicated camera movement is the dolly shot. The entire camera setup moves within the scene on the dolly. Sometimes, though, we confuse the dolly shot with a zoom, due to the fact that on screen the two may have a similar appearance. But the differences are actually in perspective. Maybe this will help. Here's a dolly of a dolly and a zoom of a dolly, and a dolly of a zoom and a zooming dolly. At the same time you're filming, you must also be concerned with recording the sound. Many new filmmakers underestimate the importance of good sound. It is usually best if you can record in sync. This is because even if the sound is not used in the final film, it can be used as a reference when editing. Microphone placement is very important, especially on dialogue, in order to get good sound. Here we see a common method for hiding the mic so it can be placed as close as possible without showing in the scene. A problem that can sometimes arise on location is camera noise. But this can be controlled with a Barney or blimp, which is a sound-absorbing cover that is placed over the camera itself. If wind noise should become a problem, a windscreen can be placed over the mic. Well, that should give you a good start for sync sound recording, and we're about to run out of time, so let's take a quick review of what we learned today. Remember, we first got to know our camera. Then we learned about lenses and exposure, and the shutter and the claw, and apertures, and film speed, and shooting film, and dolly shots, and sync sound, and microphone placement for good soundtrack mixes, and proper camera movements. Join us next time when we'll learn special effects and trick photography, and we'll combine it with what we learned today in order to produce a short film that will surely enable you to embarrass your unsuspecting friends and family. Until then, happy filmmaking.